Dear ministers, dear directors, ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, I'm Thomas Poirier, team leader of the facility from the Regional Teachers Initiative for Africa, a program funded by the European Union that aims to support teachers' policies as well as the professional development of teachers in Sub-Saharan Africa. It is with regret that I could not join you in Botswana, but I'm very pleased to be able to contribute remotely to the theme of the 13th AFTRA conference, namely Requesting Teaching as a Collaborative Profession, Implications for Africa. I would like to begin with a simple but essential idea. In many contexts, in Africa as elsewhere, teaching remains largely a solitary activity. In other words, we often see the same pattern: one teacher, one classroom, and one closed door. However, if we want for sustainably transform learning and improve the quality of education and teaching, we must first transform the way teachers work. In other words, we must move from isolation to collaboration. Today, most African education systems face considerable challenges: a shortage of qualified teachers, sometimes insufficient initial training, a lack of support and continuous professional development, and professional isolation, particularly in rural or remote areas. In this context, the traditional model shows its limits. When a teacher works alone, opportunities for exchange, innovation, and improvement remain limited. By contrast, the most effective education systems in the world are built on a strong principle: teachers progress together. So, what does it mean in practice to rethink teaching as a collaborative profession? It begins with simple but powerful practices. For example, professional learning communities, where teachers meet regularly to analyze their practices, share resources, and collectively solve concrete classroom challenges. It also involves peer observation, entering a colleague's classroom not to evaluate, but to learn and to provide constructive feedback. Mentoring is equally essential. Supporting new teachers, securing their early career stages, and accelerating their professional development. Finally, digital tools offer unprecedented opportunities, especially in Africa, where mobile technology is widespread. Discussion groups and sharing platforms can create professional communities beyond geographical distances. However, one point is important to emphasize. Collaboration should not be seen as an additional task. It must be recognized as an integral part of the teaching profession. This is where initiatives such as the Regional Teachers Initiative for Africa can play an important role. For example, we have initiated, together with UNESCO, ICBA, and the African Union and other partners, a series of webinars on the teaching profession aimed at identifying challenges and collectively finding solutions. The RTIA has also enabled and fostered peer-to-peer relationships, for example in Uganda, where a team from the National Teaching Council of Ghana provided expertise to support the establishment of a National Teaching Council in Uganda. It also includes the upcoming meetings next week in Lusaka, Zambia, where 4 delegations from the Ministries of Education of South Africa, Mozambique, Djibouti, and Zambia will exchange best practices on inclusive education. So RTIA has the potential to structure teacher networks at the regional level, promote the sharing of experiences between countries, and scale up effective practices. To achieve this, several levels are essential. integrating collaboration into continuous professional development, allocating dedicated time for collective work, strengthening the role of school leaders as facilitators, and strategically leveraging digital tools. Of course, obstacles exist. Lack of time, resource constraints, and sometimes a professional culture still marked by individualisms. But these challenges must not hold back ambition, because ultimately, this is not just a pedagogical reform. It is a transformation of the teaching profession. So I would like to conclude with this conviction. No teacher should teach alone. Rethinking teaching as a collaborative profession is not a luxury. It is an essential condition for improving the quality of education in Africa. Thank you very much for your attention, and I wish you a very productive conference.